Hello, this is Dina from the Marks Group. We're going to talk about lead conversion mapping today. But before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at info@marksgroup.net or go to marksgroup.net to see all of the different Zoho resources we have available to you. Now, to get started talking about lead conversion mapping, I'm going to start by showing you what the context is for lead conversion mapping. So for instance, we have this lead record, and we have some information filled out here, and we can convert it. And when we convert it, it's going to be a new account called Smith Company, new contact named Lady Smith, and I can choose to convert it to an opportunity as well. I'm just going to add in a few things just so it'll convert. And then you can see you have all of the different records. Now, if we go in here, you'll see that not all of the fields here match what was in the lead. And if we go back to the lead and look at another lead, for instance, we have a field for source. We have that source field. And then if we go into opportunities, we can go into each section and we can see that we don't have a source field. So if we look here, there is no source field. If we go into a contact, we could see that there is no source field as well. And if we go into accounts, go into the one we just converted, there is no source field either. So what that means is that that source data that if we had filled it out is no longer showing anywhere. So what do you do about that? Because you don't want to lose the information when you convert a lead. And that's where lead conversion mapping comes in. So if we go over here to the settings, we go to modules and fields, and near the leads, we hover over those three dots and we choose lead conversion mapping. When we come here, you can see that you can do different mapping for different layouts. So here we could do the standard layout. If we chose to, we can have the webinar demo layout be what it maps to in the account. Same with the contact, and same with opportunity. For our purposes today, I'm just going to keep them all at standard. So now let's go to, and just to show you here, then you have the fields from the lead that you had, and then you can map them to the account module, the contact module, or the opportunity module. And I'm going to go down to that source field, and you can see that the source field is not mapping to any of the field in any of these modules. So there's two things you need to do to start. So the first thing we need to do is decide which module do we want source to map to. And I think at this point it makes sense we're going to do it to the account module. So first I'm going to go into the account module, go into that standard layout, and I'm now going to add a drop down, a pick list for source, and I will put it, right over here. Now here I don't remember what the options were, so I'm going to go to another screen. I'm going to go to the leads, standard. If we go down to that source field, edit properties, we can see that we have manual entry, imported, or web form. So if I go back to the other page, I'm going to put in here, manual entry, imported, and web form. Now for the purposes right now, I'm just going to do manual and imported because I'm going to show you something related to this. So if I do done, save this. So now we can go and we can see that if we go into an account record, oops, I forgot to name let me go back in. I forgot to name the source. We go back into the account, Let me just name this source. Oops. Save it. Now if we refresh here, you can see that that now is called source. So if we were to go back into a lead, we can just go to any of these leads. I'll go to this one, and I'm going to populate the source field, which is over here. Just for right now, I'm going to populate it with manual entry. And I'm going to click here. Now what I'm also going to do over here is I'm going to go back to leads, and I can even go to it here, lead conversion mapping, and I'm now going to go down to source, and under accounts I'm going to map it to the source field. I'm going to click save. So now you can see that source, if we just scroll up to just show you again, we have account, contact, and opportunity. We're in the account section, and now you can see that source is now mapped to the source field within the account. So now we're going to go back here, and now we're going to convert this lead. And I'm not going to bother with the opportunity this time, but I'm going to do convert, and then I'm going to go to the account. And you will see here that now the source is here and it's been populated with manual entry, which is what we had selected. So one thing I did want to note is that if you remember, we had manual entry and imported. But when you go to the lead, the lead had 3 different options. They had, I believe it was web form was the other option that you had. I'm going to choose web form. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to convert this lead as well. Then if I go to the account, you can see that it looks really normal. The source is there, and you can see that it's there as web form. But if you remember correctly, web form is here when you go here, because any data that's added will show here. But if you go to another account, you can see that web form is not one of the standard options. So even though it's showing here in the account that we just converted, oops, unsort it. The account that we just converted, it's showing as web form, but we're not going to be able to do a lot with that. For example, let's say we wanted to filter and we wanted to find for all accounts which accounts have web form as their source. So we're going to filter here on the source, but you can see it's not here, and I can't put web form in. It's not going to give me, it's not going to come up as anything. See, when I go in, it doesn't save it. So what's important to remember is, as part of your lead conversion mapping, the first thing you want to do, and I'm going to go back here, is to make sure that you are clearly mapping whatever lead field you want into one of the respective modules that you're going to convert in. If not, you will lose the information you have here. But the other thing that you also have to remember, and this is technically not part of lead conversion mapping, but something to be aware of, is that you also need to update the pick list between each one. One other thing to note when you're in this lead conversion mapping is that you have some fields that have these red asterisks, and these are the custom fields that you have, and you can, it's just so you know that as well. So hopefully this was helpful in showing you what lead conversion mapping is and how you can use it to make sure that you don't lose data that you've captured in the leads, because that could be important data for you. If you have any questions, please contact us at info@marksgroup.net or visit marksgroup.net to see what other Zoho related resources we have. Thank you and have a good day.